Frontier opening bell, the 13th of June. Hello and welcome to today's market day. Of course, it was an Democracy Day in Nigeria on Monday, so the market was closed for June 12th. Remembrance, as it were, on the political front. And they've got a whole lot of conversation around that. But the Nigerian market reopening this Tuesday on a very strong footing. Intraday, the Nigerian stock market, the NGX all-share index is up about 2.5%, roughly 2.25% already as we speak. So that market is roaring strongly in the banking space, that is. The BRVM started Monday on a negative footing. The stock market in Egypt was down by 0.2%. The Nairobi stock market fell roughly 2%, and the GSC also down by 0.85%. But a very choppy Monday across some of the markets we'll cover for you on the African continent. Even the roller coaster, red hot Zimbabwe stock market stock exchange started the week just about 3% in the green territory. That's sharply lower than 10-11% that we saw on average for most of last week. But let's see what Tuesday brings when we're reporting back on Wednesday. Let's get on with the Tuesday trading day. What's the big stories and the headlines from across the continent, in particular from East Africa, where Kengen, which is listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, has been picked as the host of as Nairobi opens its door to the Africa Energy Forum 2023, which has been organized by EnergyNet. That will take place in Nairobi, where, as we speak, the Africa Hotel Investment Forum for this year is taking place with big names such as Marriott International, as well as other big hotels like Transcorp Hotels, PLC, and others. Chief executives and others, investors and owners and managers are attending. Quite a very big place. Nairobi is the destination where it's happening right now. The International Finance Corporation, which is the private sector lending arm of the World Bank, is injecting about $237 million into Safaricom of Ethiopia as part of the consortium that came from Safaricom of Kenya PLC. And East African cables listed not just on Nairobi Stock Securities Exchange, but a few other exchanges within the region, says it's got about $9 million capital from lenders. And the Tanzanian government is getting about 45 billion shillings local currency as cash dividend from its investment in CRDB Bank. That's some chunk of money that the Tanzanian government under President Suluhu has and can use. And Uganda's foreign currency lending slows to about 9.8% in the first quarter. That's lower than 10.2% that we saw in the final 3 months of 2022. Take it down. Let's look at news coming through his house soon. Nigeria's new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will appoint a new governor of the central bank to replace Godwin Emefiele, whom he suspended over the weekend. News coming through from Abuja this Tuesday shows that the chairman of the Central Bank of Nigeria is holding a meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're expecting a decision on a substantive full-time governor of the Central Bank to take place in the next couple of days, most likely before the end of the week. But whoever President Tinubu nominates will have to go through the National Assembly, which is also conducting its leadership votes today for ratification. Will there be further house cleaning at the Central Bank of Nigeria? Is anyone's guess? President Tinubu says on his inaugural address just about a few days ago that he will do house cleaning in the financial regulator. Put that in mind. And then the whole student loan bill says to be passed by President Tinubu just today, which will be an interest-free loan for students who want to go to universities, but they've got to have parents that earn less than 500,000 naira per annum. All that is still being worked out, by the way, and being discussed. Access Bank is launching first American Express card to be issued in Nigeria and across West Africa. It's a dual card which you could enjoy it from today if you're a customer of Access Bank in Nigeria. And the new Africa Exchange Link project will be the key focus tomorrow at the webinar virtually to be done by the Nigerian Exchange Limited. I'll be part of that tomorrow. You can watch out for that from about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's about an hour program, which will showcase everyone involved in the AELP project, which is the brainchild of the African Securities Exchange Association, ASEA, based in Nairobi, Kenya. And you can follow that place also on Frontier Africa Reports. The Bank of Ghana says it got about 2.79 billion shillings from its treasury auctions, as we saw yield on those dated treasuries at about 27%. And Sonatel, which is listed on the BRVM, has the most transactions, accounting for about 40% of total transactions as investors begin to pile into this particular telecommunication giant. And Banque de France says it wants a better control of the BESE, which is that development bank for French-speaking West Africa. Let's take it now to Southern Africa for today's market day, Tuesday, the 13th of June. And of course, we've got the Shisha Nyama's index has showed that South Africa's food inflation is easing. In the meantime, good news for Telkom, because the shares went about 9% on Monday after it got receiving a bid, which includes a consortium, which includes the PIC. Remember, MTN Group walked away from that corporate wedlock with Telkom a couple of months ago. Now, Telkom's got a new suitor, but let's see whether this will lead to that corporate wedlock that will take Telkom higher. Of course, you know, the South African government has a big chunk of equity shares in Telkom. And the IMF has told Zimbabwean authorities to do a whole lot more in terms of currency reforms. And that is going straight to the finance minister as well as the head of the Zimbabwe's Reserve Bank. Angola gets about $900 million from U.S. Exim Bank for solar energy projects. Angola is Africa's largest oil producer, at least at the moment. So there's a battle between Angola and Nigeria, but Angola is still producing more than Nigeria. So to speak, Nigeria's latest data was about 1.3 million barrels per day. Now, to get into green energy, Angola is getting nearly $300 million from U.S. Export-Import Bank as a support. Namibia has banned the export of unprocessed critical minerals. That seemed to be in reaction to the AFDB's president, Dr. Kumi Adesina, telling delegates and heads of state at the annual meetings of the AFDB in Sharm el-Sheikh just a few weeks ago that Africa risks losing at least $3 trillion if governments across Africa continue to export raw mineral resources, which includes the latest poster boy, lithium. So what does it look like in North Africa this Tuesday? It looks like Tunisia is getting all the help it can get. European leaders says they will be leading the delegation to Tunisia to meet with the President Said to see how things could be ironed out in terms of immigration, economic reforms that this North Africa really needs. And perhaps that will open the way for President Said's administration in Tunis to secure that critical lending funding support from the International Monetary Fund. In the meantime, Egypt's headline inflation came in Sunday at 40.3 for the month of May, urban inflation at 32.7%. Egypt is looking to increase its oil exports, by the way, by 13% in the current year. And Saudi Egyptian industrial investment is looking to acquire about 70% of El Nasser Glass and Crystal Company. And finally, Algeria's Sonatrach has signed $1.3 billion contract with Petrofac Consortium for a petrochemical complex that will be built in the North African country. Part of what is to be done right by President Said to get further investments into Tunisia and get the economy up and running. And that's your Frontier Opening Bell. It's Tuesday, the 13th of June. I am Bosun number 5. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon. We've got a whole lot covering for you in the next couple of days down to the end of the week with the African Bank annual meetings on tap for us here in our box. We'll keep you in the know. Have a great day.